Okay, so AI agents are trying to take over our browsers, but let's be real for a second. Most of them are absolutely terrible at it. There's a really deep, fundamental reason why they keep failing. But a new proposal, called WebMCP, cooked up by Google and Microsoft, aims to fix all of it by completely changing the game. To really get why this is such a big deal, we first have to talk about why current AI agents are just so clumsy.
So if you've ever tried to get an AI to do something like book a flight for you, or even just fill out a simple form, you've probably seen it fail spectacularly, right? It gets stuck, it clicks on the wrong thing, or it just kind of gives up. This isn't just some random bug that needs a quick fix, it's a much deeper problem with how these agents are trying to understand the web.
And that fundamental problem? It all boils down to one simple, kind of frustrating fact. AI agents are forced to guess what to do on a web page. They don't actually know what they're looking at.
This slide just illustrates the difference perfectly. On the left, you've got the old way. The AI is basically a tourist in a foreign country with no signs, just trying to figure out what a building is for by looking at its shape. But on the right, with WebMCP, the website is like a friendly host that just hands the AI a menu of everything it can do. All of a sudden, there's no more guesswork.
So how are they guessing right now? Well, it's basically one of two pretty flawed methods. The first is vision-based, where it literally takes a screenshot and tries to visually identify buttons and links. The second is DOM parsing, which means it sifts through thousands of lines of messy HTML code. Both are just incredibly unreliable because the AI is making its best, and often wrong, guess every single time.
And here's the absolute heart of the problem. The entire internet, every single website you visit, was designed for a person's eyes and a person's brain. There's just no built-in structured language for machines to understand. These agents are trying to interpret a world that was never ever meant for them.
Okay, so that's the problem. Now for the solution. This is where WebMCP comes in. It represents a totally radical shift in thinking. We're moving away from making the agents smarter and towards making the websites clearer.
And this right here, this is the core idea. Stop trying to build some kind of super genius AI that can magically decipher all the messy websites out there. Instead, just create a simple, standard way for websites to tell the AI what actions are available. It completely flips the problem on its head.
So what is WebMCP officially? Well, it's a protocol, basically a set of rules that lets a website say, hey AI, here are my tools. You can search for flights, or book a table, or add this item to the cart. The website explicitly declares what it can do. And just like that, the whole process becomes beautifully simple. The agent lands on a page, the site just hands over its list of available tools, the agent reads the plain English descriptions, and then it calls the exact function it needs to complete the task. It's deterministic, it's reliable, it just works.
Of course, the web isn't a one-size-fits-all kind of place. A simple contact form is worlds away from a massive, full-blown web application, and WebMCP was designed to handle both.
So, the protocol gives developers two different ways to implement it. For simple stuff, like a basic reservation form, you use what's called the Declarative API. It's super easy. You just add a few special tags to your HTML. But for the really complex web apps, the ones built with frameworks like React, you use the more powerful Imperative API, which is all based in JavaScript.
Now, this Imperative API has a really clever feature called contextual loading. Think about a huge e-commerce site like Amazon. It has hundreds of possible actions. Loading all of them at once would just overwhelm the AI. So instead, the sites only provide the tools that are relevant to the specific page you're on. So you get add to cart on a product page, and you get enter payment information on the checkout page. It's smart.
All right, now for the big strategic question. If this is supposed to be an open standard for everyone, who does it really benefit the most right now? Well, as you might have guessed, there's a bit of an angle here.
So yeah, on paper, WebMCP is an open protocol. But, and it's a big but, the reality today is that the only browser with native built-in support is Chrome Canary, which is Google's experimental browser. And the agent it's designed to work with? Google's own Gemini. Other AIs like Claude have to use a community-built bridge to use it, which can be pretty buggy.
This quote just sums it up perfectly. It's not that Google is building a walled garden and locking people out. They're building an open road that just so happens to lead directly to their own front door, using the browser they own and the AI they ship to billions of people. It is a massive home field advantage.
And if you want to see what that advantage looks like, well, here it is. For Gemini to use this new protocol, billions of Chrome users have to do absolutely nothing. It'll just be there.
For any other agent to compete, they have to convince every single user to go find and install a separate browser extension, and that's a huge, huge barrier.
So, let's bring this all home. What does this all mean for the future of the web? And what should developers be thinking about right now?
If you're a developer and you're thinking of trying this out, here are 3 key takeaways from the early documentation. First, keep it focused. The spec recommends no more than 50 tools per page. Second, your descriptions are everything. The AI decides what to do based on the text you write, so be crystal clear. And finally, and this is important, remember this is a developer trial. It is not ready for your main production website just yet.
But here's the bottom line. The long-term play is obvious. The web is becoming more automated, more agent-driven. Adopting a standard like this to make your website machine-readable is just a smart move, no matter which AI company ends up on top.
And that leaves us with one final big thought. For decades, we have designed the web for human interaction, for our eyes, our hands, our brains. This is the very beginning of a fundamental shift towards a web that also speaks the language of machines. The real question is, what new possibilities is that going to unlock?